Chapter 2, titled The Gospel of the Kingdom, from the free book, The Gospel of the Kingdom, 77 questions and answers, which can be downloaded from the website drdeborahbooks.com. Deborah is spelled Debra. Questions 10 through 15. Question 10. What is a gospel? The word gospel means to announce a good message. Question 11. What is a kingdom? A kingdom is a place where a king rules. Question 12. What is the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven is where God rules. Question 13. What is the kingdom of God? The kingdom of God is where God rules. Question 14. Are the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God the same? Yes, and both terms are used interchangeably in the scriptures. The term kingdom of heaven is used more frequently in the Gospel of Matthew. In the Gospels of Mark, Luke, John, and the letters of the New Testament, the term kingdom of God is used more often. For example, Matthew 19 verse 23 reads, "Then said Jesus unto his disciples, Verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven." Jesus uses different words to repeat the same idea in the next verse, which reads, "And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God," in Matthew 19 verse 24. Question 15. Why are two terms, specifically the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God, used to describe one thing? A more accurate perception of the kingdom can be acquired when the kingdom is perceived via two terms as opposed to via one term. Two descriptive terms are better than one for the same reason that having two eyes is better than having one eye. With two eyes or two terms, depth perception and a sense of perspective are established. With one eye or one term, the view is flattened, and it is difficult to perceive how objects are related. Natural and spiritual realities are more clearly interpreted through multiple preceptors. In summary, question 10. What is a gospel? The word gospel means good news or glad tidings. In the scriptures, it refers to the joyful proclamation that God has acted in history through Jesus Christ to save humanity and establish his reign. Thus, the gospel is not merely information, but the divine announcement that the reign of God has drawn near through the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Question 11. What is a kingdom? A kingdom is the realm, domain, or order in which a king exercises rightful authority. In biblical theology, a kingdom is not defined merely by geographical territory, but by the active rule and sovereignty of the king over his people. Question 12. What is the kingdom of heaven? The kingdom of heaven is the reign of God. Question 13. What is the kingdom of God? The kingdom of God is the reign of God. This kingdom was proclaimed and inaugurated by Jesus Christ, who declared that the reign of God was now accessible to the Jews. Question 14. Are the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God the same? Yes. The two expressions refer to the same divine reality. The Gospel of Matthew, the apostle, most often uses the phrase kingdom of heaven, while the Gospels of Mark, Luke, and John more frequently use kingdom of God. For example, in Gospel of Matthew 19:23-24, Jesus first speaks of the kingdom of heaven and then immediately repeats the teaching using the phrase kingdom of God, demonstrating that the two expressions communicate the same theological truth. The eye of a needle is generally understood as a vivid metaphor for impossibility, emphasizing the spiritual difficulty of wealth hindering reliance upon God. Question 15. Why are two terms used to describe the same kingdom? The use of both kingdom of heaven and kingdom of God enriches theological understanding by presenting the same reality from complementary perspectives. Kingdom of heaven emphasizes God's rule. Kingdom of God emphasizes God's rule. Just as two eyes provide depth perception, these two expressions provide theological depth and perspective, allowing believers to perceive more fully God's reign, both transcendent and present, heavenly in origin, yet manifest within the world. Where God is, that's where heaven is. Where heaven is, that's where God is.